For the NewsNation legal analyst. Listen, Mica was clearly under duress. She called police 15 times in the last year. And this allegation that John Paul met her when she was 10 years old and began grooming her, could he be charged for crimes related to that?
Let's talk big picture. Even though Mica's no longer here, he could still be criminally and civilly liable. And by the way, in South Carolina, unlike other states, there's no statute of limitations with crimes. So if we're talking about, let's say, for example, grooming, there's no crime of grooming. It kind of encompasses other things.
Creepy.
Well, it could be sexual exploitation of a child. Now, I don't want to make innuendos. I don't want to make accusations, but these are really serious matters we're talking about. She's alleging things of perhaps assault. She's alleging things perhaps of exploitation. She's talking about how she was involuntarily committed to a hospital. Now, what complicates that is he did have a power of attorney, but
why? Is that normal?
So generally speaking, power of attorneys are when someone is in a position where they can't make healthcare decisions for themselves.
Right.
If this is a situation where she could, and I don't know what the terms of it said.
She's young and healthy. We
she's
just saw
young and
that
healthy.
Video she made of herself just, what, not even 2 months ago?
Exactly. I mean, the terms of it would be where she would have to be in a position where he could make those decisions. But again, you have witnesses who sign that. So something's not adding up about it. Doesn't mean it's a crime. And it seems like her family is suggesting, and we know that the burden of proof is lower, they may file a lawsuit. And, you know, there's something about a wrongful death lawsuit. They may not be able to prove in a court of law that there were crime was committed, who's responsible for her death, but a wrongful death lawsuit, the standard's lower.
There is case law that, you know, there was a case in Massachusetts a few years ago. A woman was found criminally responsible for her boyfriend or fiance's suicide, driving him to suicide, with only her words.
Yeah, that's the Michelle Carter case.
Right.
And look, that was involuntary manslaughter. That is when you're acting in such a reckless way that it's foreseeable your actions would cause the death of that person. We have to be very careful about that. Unfortunately, in today's society, people take their lives for a number of reasons. They blame a number of people. We can't open the floodgates for crimes to be committed unless he was directing her to kill herself or encouraging her to do it. I don't think that's going to fly there.
Oh, what an awful case. I'm sure we're going to learn more as this the family continues to push for an investigation. And thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.